Hello, darkness, my old friend. You've come to talk with me again. Sens lose 5-2.
5-2.
To the insert team name here, New Jersey Devils. 5-2, huh? 5-2. How'd you sleep last night? 'Cause I kept having nightmares. All I heard all night was taunting. 5-2, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. Enough with the 5-2. One game. You gave us a one-game break. Now here we are, back with a 5-2 nonsense again. 9 games. Let's look back at the last 9 games. The Sens have 6 losses in that span, and 4 of those games have been by a score of 5-2! I am so sick and tired of these 5-2 scores! I hate losing, and you keep subjecting me to this? Over and over I keep wondering why! Then you give up and get stomped into the ground! Ah! You stupid, no good... Let's just get into lineup changes. Drake Batherson was returned to Belleville following Ottawa's win over Nashville on Monday, and I can't say I'm surprised or overly upset with the decision. With the Sens enjoying a pretty decent break over the Christmas holidays, and with the roster freeze kicking in effective Wednesday, the Sens needed to make a decision, and they needed to make one fast. Sending him to Belleville was absolutely the right move. Batherson would play just 2 games with the Sens over the span of 12 days. With Batherson being sent down to Belleville, he can play 5 games with the baby Sens before being recalled following the roster freeze. This gives him extra ice time and a chance to regain some confidence. Then, if he's ready, the club can recall him on the 29th. With Batherson down in Belleville, the Sens need to make an addition to their lineup and got the perfect Christmas present as Matt Duchene was ready and able to return to the lineup, and he was that addition. The club also received some reinforcements on the back end, as Dylan DeMello was ready to return to the lineup after missing the last 5 games with an injury. To make room, Justin Falk was a healthy scratch, and Andy got the start and goal. The Devils didn't seem too pleased to see Andy either, as Miles Wood would run him over less than a minute in, and the Sens would go to the power play. So naturally, New Jersey would score first. After Andy bails out the Sens on the power play once, he can't do it again a second time. Nor should he have to! But sure enough, Zaka chips it by Chabot, wheels in all alone, fires it under the arm of Anderson, and less than 2 minutes into the game, the Devils lead 1-0. Where was? It's a shorthanded goal less than 2 minutes in! Are you kidding me? Let's just move on. And move on to a 2-0 lead? The Devils do. That's not what I meant. But it's what happened. Yeah, that mystery voice in the air, he's right. The Devils would take advantage a few minutes later. Just over 11 minutes in, the Devils win a puck battle along the wall. Taylor Hall pulls it out, slides the pass over to Kyle Palmieri. He one-times it by a sliding Craig Anderson, and the Devils' lead is 2-0. 3 Sens, 2 Devils along the boards, and the Devils win? Maybe it's because Ryan Dzingel just stood there and watched the battle. And then when 2 Devils skated by, he didn't do anything about them either. Play with a commitment to defense, please! And not just Dzingel, but the whole team! Thankfully, they do that just enough, and we get out of the first period with the Devils leading 2-0. Not a lot to be thankful for after that, but I'll try it anyway. Does anyone else remember a certain Sens-Devils contest from January 2016? The Sens gave up 5 first-period goals and trailed 5-0 after the first 20 that night. At least it hasn't gotten that bad, yet! And thankfully, the hockey gods make sure it doesn't get any worse, as Severson rings one off the iron a few minutes into period 2, and the Sens continue to trail, just 2-0. That post, it would prove huge for the Sens too, who would cut into the Devils' lead a few minutes later. With the Sens on the power play, Stone and Chabot play pitch and catch, until finally, Stone decides to send a cross-ice feed to Matt Duchene, who one-times it by a sliding Keith Kincaid, and just like that, the Devils' lead is cut to 2-1. Nice play, nice power play goal, nice pass, nice shot. Let's go! And let's go, the Devils do. Would you be quiet? Every time I hear from you, it's nothing but bad news. Mystery is right though. The Devils would get going, and they would regain their 2-goal lead. Just over 4 minutes in, the Devils are on the power play. Palmieri keeps in a Max Lajoie clearing attempt, sends a cross-ice feed to Taylor Hall. He takes a couple steps in, performs a weird little fake, fires it through the legs of Andy, and just like that, it's 3-1 Devils. I mean, Lajoie needs to get that puck out. The Sens need to box it up, but come on. All the errors aside, that's one Andy really needs to have. Just when you think the Sens might stage a comeback, sloppy play burns them, and they're down by 2 goals again. And even better, before the end of the period, more sloppy play would mean a bigger hole. Brady Tkachuk fires a shot at the empty net, but Sami Vatanen knocks it out of the air, and then Nico Hischier swats it out of the air with his hand as both players pull the puck off the goal line. The puck comes out to Stone, he wheels around the top of the circle, and with nobody behind him, he loses the puck. So of course, right after the Sens have a puck pulled off the goal line, twice, the Devils march back the other way on a 2-on-0. Palmieri feeds Hall, he bangs it by Andy, and the Devils lead 4-1. Yep, feels about right for this team. One team makes a terrific defensive play, the other team forgets there's a thing called defense, and in the matter of seconds, it goes from almost being 3-2 to being 4-1. Just perfect. The Sens wouldn't say die though, as Matt Duchene bangs home a Bobby Ryan rebound, and it's 4-2 Devils. Welcome back, Matt Duchene. 2 goals in 2 periods so far? Not a bad night. Something that is bad though, is the way the Sens ended the second period. Taylor Hall has his shot stopped, Nico Hischier picks up the rebound, and with Magnus Pajärvi, Zach Smith, and Cody Ceci all in his face, turns around and fires a shot towards the goal. It gets blocked. He's able to pick up his own rebound, fire it on goal again, this time get it through the players by Andy, and giving the Devils a 5-2 lead. That magical 5-2. This is another one Andy really should have had. But let's be real for a little bit. Does anyone want to help him out? It's a 3-on-1, and you still lost with 2 extra players. It's just awful. Fortunately, we get to the third with the game still 5-2. And like I said, we've got that magical score again. And because I know a lot of people that really enjoy my pain, I had a lot of friends and family point out that Ottawa was losing 5-2 again. Thanks for that, guys. Now, if only we could get some third period goals and not have a 5-2 hockey game anymore. Mike McKenna replaces Andy to start the third, but it doesn't much matter. It was wishful thinking on my end to have more goals, as neither team find the back of the net, and the Devils skate away with a 5-2 win. It wasn't for a total lack of effort though, as Matt Duchene and Brady Tkachuk tried to get the Sens a third goal, but for the second time in the game, had one pulled inches from the goal line. Sloppy play, bad luck, and not enough attention to detail leads to a 5-2 Sens loss. If the Sens never had to endure another 5-2 loss ever again, I'd be pretty happy. Of course, at least it wasn't against Corey Schneider, who hasn't won a hockey game in over a year. So there's that. Let's just move on to good news, bad news. The good news is the return of Matt Duchene. In his first game back, he scores 2 goals, but to be brutally honest, who cares? Yes, he scored twice, and that's awesome, but it was a 5-2 hockey game. If he scored or not, the Sens were still going to lose. But having Duchene back, it completely changes the dynamic of the team. I thought Colin White enjoyed a real solid couple weeks without Duchene in the lineup. This isn't a referendum on his game. But with Duchene back, White can reassume the role of the second-line center. I see this situation with Duchene and White as nearly the exact same situation we had in Ottawa just a few short years ago. Jason Spezza was unquestionably the number 1 center on the Sens, who also had this young up-and-coming Kyle Turris as their number 2 center. Kyle Turris was capable of playing some 1C at the time, but was way better suited off for his long-term future as the 2C. So here we are again. The more time Colin White can spend as a second-line center this season, the better off for the Sens. And the better off for Colin White and the Sens in the future as well. If you look at the development Turris enjoyed while playing as a second-line center behind Spezza, you can see how it would make sense that having Duchene and White in that role this year would be very nice for the player and for the team. Of course, it also fills out the Sens' whole roster better. Now all of a sudden, Chris Tierney can slot down and play as the third-line center, and Zach Smith can fall down and play in the 4-hole. Duchene being back is a big help for all of the Sens forwards, most notably Colin White, and that is good news. Now, for the bad news. I thought we were finished having this conversation this year. 5 goals against. The The Devils' top line finishes with 4 of those goals, and that is bad news. All too often this season, the Sens have let one line run roughshod over them. And after seemingly having that fixed in recent weeks, the Sens took a massive step backward in this one. Taylor Hall finished with 2 goals, 2 assists, Kyle Palmieri added a goal and 2 assists, and Nico Hischier had a goal, 1 assist, and 1 save. All totaled, the Devils' top line had 1 goal against saved, 4 goals, and 5 assists. That's 9 points from the Devils' top line. 9! I'm just at a complete loss. Next up, the Sens return home for the first of 2 straight Saturday night contests against the defending Stanley Cup champion, Washington Capitals. The contest is also the first of the season between the Sens and the defending champs. Can we just skip this game and start the Christmas break early? The Sens come into the contest losers of 10 of their last 12 against the Capitals, including 3 straight and 8 of 9. The Capitals also come into the game winners of 6 of their last 7 and have the league's hottest goal scorer in Alex Ovechkin. Add in the fact that Mike McKenna is expected to get the start and goal, and Marcus Högberg has been called up, likely to serve as McKenna's backup, and it has the feelings of a very long night. See you later tonight.